Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video review of my K-4 kindergarten curriculum, and actually I should probably rename it from K-4 to K-5 because it's a full kindergarten curriculum now. And so if you'd like to take a closer look at what's all included in this and what it looks like, please stick around and we'll take a closer look. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit closer look inside my K-4 kindergarten curriculum, and as I mentioned, when I first started this I called it K-4 because it was really kind of meant to be an intermediate program that was sort of for kids who were 4 years old, who were past preschool level activities but not quite ready for kindergarten. And so that's kind of how it started out, and then as I went I added more and more and more to it, and now at this point it's really a full-on I would say K-5 kindergarten program, but you could use it for 4 or 5-year-olds if they've gone through my Letter of the Week program first. So let's take a closer look at what is all included and how I organize all this, because it's a lot of material. Okay, so it might be a little difficult for you to read this, but this is kind of an overview of all the different skills and whatnot covered in my K-4 kindergarten curriculum. It covers everything that you need for kindergartens, which is basically you're going to be doing more handwriting this year, you're going to be doing more numbers, you're going to be beginning math, you're going to continue working on letter sounds and doing more reading as opposed to just learning the letter and what they say, like my Letter of the Week curriculum. There are lots of games and activities in here to reinforce phonics and reading, beginning reading. There's also, like I said, beginning math and counting, some addition, some beginning subtraction, and then lots of word building activities as well. So there also is some Bible in here. There's a ton of games and crafts, just like my Letter of the Week, and so really there's a lot of things that are included in this curriculum. So what you'll get when you buy it is you're going to get the daily lesson plans, which I'll show you in a minute, and then you're going to get all of the printables that you need for, here's all of the math ones. They're not all of the math ones, but here's some of the math ones. There's beginning adding and subtracting. There's number order, and this goes from, number order from 0 to 100, but then it also goes through all of the different skip counting as well. There's skip counting and number cards here as well. Then there's fun number mazes. There's calendar activities as well, so they're going to be keeping track of the calendars and number writing and such like that. There's also a ton of beginning reading and phonics practices where they're finding vowels in words, locating, which picture, which vowel sound it starts with, or as they get more advanced through the curriculum, they'll be doing the beginning blends and identifying those as well. There's missing letter games, there's letter hunt worksheets, sight word worksheets, phonics practice, and all that kind of stuff. And then of course there's all kinds of handwriting practice, numbers, letters, review sheets. They're going to be practicing their name and all of those kind of things. So, and then last but not least, there's also some more sight words, spelling. They're going to do, it's like a beginning spelling because you're in kindergarten here and they're still really learning how to do the phonics of it all. And then there's a ton of review games and extra practice and beginning reading books and that kind of thing that are going to be covered in here. So there's a lot of stuff that's covered. This is a full 34-week kindergarten curriculum. And just like my preschool curriculum, this also comes with an assessment, and again, I do not share these results with my children. I just simply give them assessments so that I know where they are and what I need to work on with them and all that kind of thing so that they're ready to move on to the next phase. There's also sight word assessments in here so that you can kind of know which sight words they've gotten a grasp on and which ones you still need to work on as well. And then of course, like my other one, it also includes daily lesson plans, and these are in this binder for the fair that I went to, so it was easy to show people, but I actually have this spiral bound just so that it's easy for me to kind of flip from page to page, and this is laid out similar to my Letter of the Week. This one happens to be on week 9, and again it has Monday through Friday across the top. Here's kind of your group activities where you're going to be doing your calendar and your date and any review stuff that you've learned so far. We continue to review all year long. They're going to be working on their memory verse up here and then doing their daily learning notebook, which I'll show you in just a minute. And then on Monday it goes through and it tells you exactly what to do, and there's subjects down the side so you kind of know what you're working on. So for example, it starts out with calendar, handwriting, sight words, math, phonics, art, and then reading. And those are going to be pretty much the same throughout the week, not the same activities, but you'll do them in the same order. You can swap around the order if you want to do something else first or whatever. It's, pretty flexible. but I do suggest doing at least these activities listed in here each day. If you want to do a 4-day week instead of a 5-day week, you can kind of combine in some of these activities to make it fit your schedule a little bit better as well. So it's pretty easy to follow. It just tells you the name of the file, which I'll show you in a second, and then what to kind of do with that worksheet. So the instructions I think are fairly easy, but of course if you have any questions, you're always welcome to email me. And then at the beginning of the notebook, it tells you any additional resources that I think you might enjoy. These are all optional. None of them are required, so they're just some extra things that we had fun with. But the curriculum as a whole is a standalone. You don't need to buy a bunch of extra stuff to go with it. Alright, so they do number practice where they're writing the words and then finding the number down here. There's also quite a bit of number writing practice, and there's still some beginning just pencil skills practice on there. There's also lots of letter writing review, and then upper and lower case, and then there's also quite a bit of number writing practice, and so this is all included in the curriculum, of course, and then there's some blank pages for you if you want to do that. There's also quite a bit of reading practice in here, and so they're going to do things like you know, associating just beginning sounds. So, and there's instructions on here, but you're going to look at the first row and then circle anything that starts with that same sound as the letter you see there. And then as they progress, they'll be listening for the middle sound. So for example, in the word box, the middle vowel sound is ah, o, so they would circle o. And I have these in page protectors right now, but for the curriculum, I actually just print them on regular copy paper, and then they can use a pencil or crayon or colored pencil or whatever. If you want to save these and reuse them, you certainly could do that, put them in a page protector, and then they could circle them with a dry erase expo marker or whatever, and then you can reuse those with if you have other children that you need to use them with. So the next thing as they progress on will be beginning blends, and so sun would be SU, for, so they would circle that. And this is just a quick progression so you can kind of see where they're going with this, but there's several of those kind of activities, and then they're going to move from looking at the picture and identifying the letter to actually writing it and kind of coming up with it, because it's one thing to be given like a multiple choice question, it's another thing to be able to say this is a nest and it starts with the letter N, and so you're going to come up with that letter on your own. So this is just kind of a progression of what they'll go through, and then it'll move again to similar where they're writing, finding out what the middle vowel is, and they're coming up with that on their own and then reading the word together, and so on. So there's quite a bit of that kind of practice in here, and then once they get through some of that, they're going to move on to beginning reading, where they're actually reading you know, sentences, and you can cut these out and staple them on the end to make them into like a little book, or you can just leave them like this and they can just read them off the worksheet. It's kind of up to you. And then, sorry, my printer got a little wonky here for these, but these are my K4 letter hunt worksheets. And so for here, they're hunting for the letter I, and we just use these do-a-dot markers and we just dot all of the I's in there, but you could do, you know, you could circle them with a pencil or a pen, or you could put these in page protectors as well, and use a dry erase marker. And then they're also going to be doing quite a bit of sight word things. So we have see it, build it, write it, and so you'll give them the sight word, they'll see it like in a card, like you'll cut these cards out and sit it there, and then they're going to build it with something like letter tiles, whatever you have, and then they're going to write it. And this I would suggest laminating so that they can just reuse this one sheet. You don't want to have to keep reprinting this sheet for it. And I'll show you all that in kind of a second, but here's what the printable looks like. So here's all the cards, and then here's the letter tiles that they can use to build it with, and that kind of thing. And then here's another version of that where they've got the word, and these are laminated, and then all these little letter tiles are laminated as well. And then they've got the word, and they can just build it with these, or they can write it in there. It's kind of up to you on what you think that they need more practice on. So there's a lot of sight word kind of activities through here, and then there's also practice writing them, tracing them, and then there's blank ones where they can write their own. There's also missing letter games, which these are kind of fun. So they're in alphabetical order, and then they have to use the tiles to put in the missing letter. And I have upper and lower case for those, and then I have a number version of that as well. And then there's a bunch of these. These are the skip counting ones. I'll kind of show you. I have the real ones in a folder over here, but these are For my fourth child, because we weren't going to reuse these, I just printed these out on copy paper, and then she actually cuts out all the strips, which is great practice for her, and then she glues them onto a piece of paper in order, so it helps them make the puzzle, but it also helps her get these numbers in order. And these are the skip counting ones, 10s, 2s, 5s, and so on. And then there's also a whole section of actual number order ones where, as you can see, they're in the 70s here. We use some of these already, but where they're just actually in order. So those are a great way to practice number order. There's also a bunch of skip counting flashcards in here to help them with their skip counting practice, and also regular number order. And then we have these mazes to help with logical thinking skills. There's several of these in there, so they're going to go from start to finish on the mazes. And then we have number magnet worksheets where they're counting the items up here, and then they're putting a magnet or a dot or a Cheerio or whatever you want to use on to help them associate, you know, what 9 is and how many 9 is and what that looks like and that kind of thing. And that's great for motor skills still, and also one-to-one correspondence, because they're going to be putting one sticker or one Cheerio or one dot or whatever in each of the circles. There's also these number mazes, which are kind of fun, and so they're going to be skip counting. So this one is the 80 to 100, and it goes in order. So we use the do-a-dot markers again for this this project, but they would mark 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, you know, and so on, all the way to 100. So those go all the way from, I believe, 0 to 100, and they're also skip counting ones as well in there for that. And then there's also a bunch of math games included. Again, like I said, this isn't all of the things that are included in this curriculum, because there's quite a bit of stuff in here, but where they're going to, I print these out and I did laminate these little guys, and the alligators face both ways so that they can show which one is more. And so they'll put the alligator on here showing, obviously he's going to be going toward the 3 because the 3 is bigger. And then it gets harder as they go to where they're actually, okay, we're going to add 1 plus 1, and we've got a 2 over here, so which one is bigger, and that kind of thing. So the games just progress as you progress through the curriculum. And then there's also these fun domino games that we use. Where they're going to just pick, this one is a dice, they'll roll a die, write down their number, roll it again, write down the number, add the 2 together, and then come up with it. Or you can have them roll 2 die and write, you know, each number in there, and then count the die up to come up with their answer or whatever. There's several of those kind of games in here. Addition, subtraction. These are included, multiplication, because you know, if you just have somebody who's a little bit ahead or ready for that, you can add that in there. But and then there's preschool Yahtzee with instructions around here on how to play that. There's roll the dice and trace the number, and this just gets them used to seeing the dice number, finding it on the card, writing the number. It's just all a fun kind of hands-on way to practice your numbers. And this is a probability game, which is really fun, and there's instructions on here on how to play it, but basically they're rolling a dice, and each time they get that number they make a mark until they have one all the way across, and then you can discuss the probability of which one happened the most and the least and all that kind of stuff. And here's another fun clear the board game that's a dice game as well. So those are some of the things that are included in the K4 curriculum. I'm going to show you how I organize it all, because it can be kind of overwhelming when you get your CD or the download. Okay, my advice to you is to just get some file folders like these. I just went and bought a whole pack of them, and then when you get the curriculum, it comes in, if you do a download, it's 3 downloads, and if you do a CD, it's just all in one CD. But you'll notice there are several files. So the very top file is going to be your lesson plans. And for the lesson plans, I just took the file, printed it out, and then I had it spiral bound at Office Depot. It's got a clear cover and then just a white back cover. And that way it helps me, I just open it to whatever week we're on, and if you need to, you know, you can put a tab if you get off on your days or whatever, if you don't do it Monday through Friday or whatever. But that just makes it easy for me to kind of keep this in one spot, figure out, you know, really quickly what I need to do for the day, any worksheets I need to pull out. So I print that off first. Alright, at the beginning of your teacher's manual, it's going to tell you any of the recommended resources that are just kind of additional, and those again are totally optional. It's also going to tell you what to print out for my website for calendar time if you got the CD, because the CD isn't quite big enough to fit everything. So there might be a couple extra things that you just need to download for free. And this does not go to the ForShared site. That's kind of a pain. This goes to my shared server. It should be easy for you to download, no problem. and just anything that you might need to prepare in advance so that you're ready. And really it's not a whole lot other than printing out the files and the daily learning notebook, which I'll show you here in just a minute. And then it shows you what additional supplies you might need, like you might want a binder, you know, paper, scissors, that kind of stuff. So this will just kind of give you a hint on a couple things that you might want to get a hold of before you start. The next thing that I do is I print out all of the files that are in there, and I just printed them all on copy paper because that was the easiest for me. And then I wrote the name of the file, so this name is called Sight Word Sentences, at the top, and then I just put all of those pages in here, and I just have them in here in order, and that way when my curriculum tells me to do sight word sentence worksheet whatever, I just can go in here and they're in order, so you just pull off the top one and give it to your child. So here, this isn't actually all of them because we use some of them. This is some of the stuff that I have sort of left over. But you can see that I just listed all of them with the file names. I just keep them all in alphabetical order. That way if it says to pull out something, it's really easy for me to find that file, open it up, and pull it out. Oh, look, I need a sight word search on the word on. Here it is. It's right in the front. Just pull that out. So those are probably the easiest way that I can see to organize this and to just make it really easy for you to pull things out, you know, quickly. So I just keep them all in these, and then I actually just stack these in one of my cubby holders over here with my teacher's manuals, and then I can just pull them out really quickly. So that's how I organize this. You're certainly welcome to do it however you want. You could hole punch these and put them all in a binder with divider tabs. Either way, I suggest you keep the name of the file somehow associated with that little group of worksheets. That way it's really easy to pull those out. This curriculum comes with a ton of review games and extra activities as well, and so for those that aren't specifically worksheets that are going to be pulled out every day, I just printed them off. A lot of them are laminated, and I just keep them in this binder so that it's really easy for me to go through and just pull out any games that are being asked for, and it's not hard to find them, and they're not falling all over the place. If there's any little pieces like on these, I just put them in a little Ziploc baggie so they're kind of contained, and then put them all in this page protector, and then I can just pull them out when I need them. So that's how I store all of the extra activities for K4. Okay, and then the K4 also comes with a kindergarten daily learning notebook as well. And I just put these first few pages in laminate, and then we use a dry erase marker, and then they can trace over the day, find the number for the day. They write the number, then what comes before and after, and then it also comes with printable, traceable cards that you can stick down in here so they can write today's number words. So they would be writing 11 or 12 or whatever the date is. There's also information in here on what time it is and making the date in coins, or if today is the 11th, they would write an 11 here, and then they could use 2 nickels and 1 penny, or 11 pennies, or 1 dime and a penny, you know, however you want to help them make out the date. They'll also be doing a weather thing, and then they can draw a little picture on what kind of clothes they would wear today to correlate with the weather. And we keep a thermometer outside, and so they go outside and then they color up to the thermometer so they know you know, what the temperature is for the day. And then each day you can either put a sticker or color it or whatever, and they're going to mark, and then you can do a little 100 days party once you hit your 100th day of school. They're going to practice writing their name, and then for the kindergarten you can either use the blank monthly templates, or you can use the traceable monthly templates. It really depends on what your child is ready for. But they're going to be writing the name in, or the number in each day as they go through the calendar for that month. And then they're going to be marking, just coloring in one of the boxes on what the weather is like. And then at the end you can talk about the most common weather for that month. And you know, you can, and that also helps discuss seasons. There's a seasonal printout that comes with this as well. And then this one also includes numbers up to 100. It also includes letter worksheets, and this is my daughter's, so it's kind of used after the end of this year. But and so they're just going to be doing reviews of all their letters and numbers as you go through as well. And I'm going to do a separate video on these daily learning notebooks because I have I think 4 different versions now: preschool, kindergarten, elementary manuscript, and elementary cursive. All right, as far as supplies goes for this, the list is pretty limited. Really, you just need basic supplies. some scissors, you know, just regular kind of glue. We still do use the Do-A-Dot markers, and I use little things like clothespins and things like that to mark answers on some of the math cards. You'll want just some crayons or colored pencils, regular pencils. I do suggest construction paper because there's a lot of arts activities and that kind of thing. And we still use some magnets. A lot of these were just sort of leftover supplies from my Letter of the Week program, and we just continue to use them. I do suggest dry erase markers because we use those on anything we laminate. And, you know, just your basic kind of standard paper, pencils, you know, glue, that kind of thing. So otherwise the supply list is pretty minimal for the K4 kindergarten. Alright, so that is my K4 kindergarten curriculum. I hope you enjoyed that review and that it helps some of you out. If you have any questions, of course you're welcome to email me at erica@confessionsofahomeschooler.com, or you can check out my website. There's a lot of printables and other kind of kindergarten helps on there as well. So I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you next time.